Test, test.
Test, test.
Oh, good. We're underway.
Test,
Hey, everybody. It's Dwayne here. And I thought I'd do a special stream. Nothing really fancy today. I didn't really want to talk about anything other than the fact that yesterday I turned 50. So you're looking at a 50-year-old YouTube twitching gamer. So I thought I'd take a few moments. I didn't really have a large party to celebrate my 50th birthday yesterday. That probably has something to do with the lack of a large social circle, which means I didn't have a ton of people actually to celebrate with. So I spent the day buying myself some presents and basically just treating myself to a couple things that I like in life, which basically meant a stop to the comic book store, a visit to the local game shop, and the hobby shop. So yeah, that's kind of lame. I did get some Chinese food, and I did my obligatory ritual that I do every year on my birthday as I watch a scary movie. Not so scary to me, I guess, but a quote-unquote scary movie that people would call a scary movie. So that was sort of my birthday. That was my 50th birthday in a nutshell. Essentially growing old gracefully, as they say. But it did give me some chance to reflect and look back on the 50 years that I've spent on this earth and get an idea of, where I've come, the things that have happened to me in life, and where I'm going. So let's start with where I'm going, as opposed to all the things that happened to me in life, because that's kind of the more boring stuff. Behind me, you'll see an acrobatic black kitten every once in a while jumping up on my shoulder. So, where I'm going? Well, at 50 years old, it's quite evident that I am probably one of the older dungeon masters that I can think of. I mean, there's probably lots of old dungeon masters out there, but whenever I look on YouTube or watch Twitch or anything like that, it always seems to be 30-something dungeon masters playing D&D and talking about how they just got into the hobby a decade ago, or 10, even 20 years ago. They reminisce about how they've been playing it for 20 years. And then I basically look at that video and say, hold my beer. But essentially, I've been playing D&D since I was 12 years old. Anyway, I've been playing D&D for a very long time. The good news is that I actually still watch those videos and learn stuff. So I'm not above learning about new ways to play my favorite hobby. But it does dawn on me that I am 50 years old teaching a younger generation of gamers how to play this game that I've grown up loving, and watching them hopefully benefit from my my tutelage and my way of playing. I tend to do a lot of imaginative play. I focus in on that and the storytelling aspect of D&D. I watch D&D being played these days, and there's different styles, but a lot of it tends to boil down to the numbers and the math and more of the strategic planning. There are some channels out there that do a lot of the story elements of it, but I like to use the imaginative play, is what I call it. So where I'm going, let's talk about it. I'm going to keep going what I'm doing, which is my weekly Dungeons and Dragons groups that I do for children who have autism and other exceptionalities. I do plan on at some point hopefully hosting a adult group that I can play with my peers, if I can find some peers, because I do miss that style of play. Even though I do weekly sessions with the younger crowd, it is a different type of play. It's a little bit more methodical and a little bit more dialed in and planned to accommodate their needs, as opposed to a free-flowing kind of really engaging adult-oriented D&D session with lots of really cool story tropes and acting and lots of technical stuff that is thrown around. So I would like to get into an adult-oriented game. I just need to find some peers that are going to engage in the hobby. That's harder than you think, actually. High school was dreamland for finding D&D players. You just tell your friends, hey, let's play D&D, and you play it. Now you've got busy adult lives, you've got schedules, you got work, you got all this stuff in the way of playing games, and playing on the internet is the only way you can really do it, if that even. It's even hard to come together on the internet. As far as the Maverick Games side of what I want to do in the future moving forward, I am going to take this time to start looking at how I can grow the business as far as being able to accommodate more students than just simply a one-to-one basis of signing them up and getting them involved in my services. One idea that I hope will come to fruition one day is the concept of a shared social space, sort of like what I did when I ran my business, Evo Games. But the idea is that I would create a game space, like a large office room, whatever it is, almost akin to like a game store these days. Just strip out all of the product that you would normally buy at a game store, and it becomes a social space with different areas dedicated to different games, even separate rooms with glass, being able to look in so people can see what's going on for different games that need a little bit more of a quieter environment. But the idea is that parents who have children with autism and would basically enroll in sort of like a membership type concept as opposed to a one-off session per session basis. And that would allow them to just come in at any point as opposed to dedicated times of the week or month. Hopefully with the government's help, I might even be able to actually secure a space to make this vision a reality. But I think at the end of it all, that's where I want to go with the business. I don't want it to be just a sign up for this and participate at this time. I want to have an inclusive center, so not only kids with neurodiversity, but possibly even age appropriate people who want to play the hobby or want to enjoy these games with others in a social environment. Inclusivity is the sort of the hallmark of special needs and autism in an education system. I just have to figure out how that works in a social environment. But yeah, that's sort of the idea of where I want to go with this business. It's a long hill. I think so far I've accomplished some success in the format and the way that I've gone about it so far. It's a little bit mind-boggling to think that I've only been doing this for about 2.5 years and I've had success. I just have to keep focused on doing the best thing I can for the kids and the parents without getting ahead of myself. And as an adult with ADHD, I do get ahead of myself quite a bit. So as far as gaming goes, let's talk about my gaming hobbies. Turning 50 meant that I looked back on all the games that I have in my office, and I realized that I have a crap ton of games. I have now at my disposal what's called an airbrushing kit. And an airbrushing kit is going to hopefully help me overcome my fear of painting with all these little miniature men staring up at me every day going, "Paint me, Dwayne, paint me." So hopefully that will take care of some of that. That's wishful thinking. But I do have a lot of games, and I haven't really been playing them. They kind of sit on my shelf and collect dust. And I don't know if that's going to change. But here's hoping. I have reconnected with a friend, and him and I are making sort of a semi-committed effort to meet up every couple weeks to play at our local internet game cafe. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. But that's sort of me making an attempt at connecting with human beings outside of online and trying to get my social fill, which is important. I've kind of accidentally shoved myself into social isolation. I don't have a lot of friends, and I don't get out much. So I've had to force myself to actually engage with other people, whether that be going to Tim Hortons and having a social conversation with them. But the drive-thru is not the best place to do that, just FYI. If you want to connect with people, don't go to the drive-thru. They don't like it when you actually talk to them. They just want to get you on your way. So even Tim Hortons, in the lobby of my apartment building, just anytime I get a chance to, I've really seen the value of connecting with people, because I pretty much work in an isolated bubble. I wake up in the morning rather late, which is another problem. And, I spend my afternoon preparing for my session, which is 2 hours. So I work for 2 hours, and then that's it for my work day. But I put a lot of work into those 2 hours and the different people that I have to support in those 2 hours. And so it's a lot of stress. But yeah, so that's sort of what my day looks like. So now I've got to really work hard at coming out of that bubble and maybe spending some time out in the real world, meeting people. So that's another thing that I've reflected on at turning 50. Now, you're watching this on Twitch, which is separate from my YouTube channel. And I have 2 YouTube channels now, but I'm in the process of trying to reinvigorate my YouTube efforts. I've realized that I have a lot of time, and I always complained in life that I didn't have enough time to focus on YouTube. So, no better time than the moment. I'm putting effort into trying to figure YouTube out, figuring out how I'm going to do this. These videos that I film on Twitch ultimately sometimes make their way to YouTube in an edited form. This one here might just get thrown up on YouTube just for the sake of it, because it is kind of a milestone in my life. But for the most part, I do Twitch separately from my YouTube, which means if you're up late at night, you're going to see me playing video games on my Xbox, streaming a variety of games with no real thought behind it. I kind of think that, like, by streaming, I'm putting myself out into the world, and at least potentially maybe somebody might come along and have a conversation with me. So that's sort of why I do that. I don't do it through any kind of means of perfecting my Twitch streams. I just kind of turn my Twitch on and hope that I get people watching. And maybe if those people are watching, maybe they'll have a conversation with me at the same time. And that's just another way to connect with the world at large. YouTube is basically an effort for me to try and monetize a subject matter that I find totally enjoyable, and perhaps maybe earn a little bit of residual income doing it, being that I have time to. So that's a little bit of a perfection process. There's more to it than just turning on your webcam and talking into it. And, let's be clear, these days on YouTube, it's awful. I mean, we have clickbait, we have people trying to capture your attention and trick you into watching their videos. We have YouTube ads popping up, and the only time that someone gets paid is if you stay on their video long enough to watch the ad or skip it. So they're teasing you with staying on their video for longer than a few seconds. Let's be real, most of the people watching YouTube these days only have an attention span of a few seconds. Beyond that, I hope everybody had a great Halloween. I don't want to turn it into a rambling session. I did. Like I said, I didn't do much. I turned 50 gracefully, and my children enjoyed their Halloween without their dada, because I'm kind of a grump when it comes to Halloween. I'm kind of selfish. It's my one day a year that I lean into my selfish behavior. But they had a great Halloween from what I heard, and hopefully I'll get some candy thrown my way after they come back and get ready for their next visit. So thank you for tuning in. This is my This Is 50 stream. I'm sure I left lots out that I've been feeling, but it's kind of a reflection moment for most people in their lives when they hit 50. It means they look back on what they did, and they look forward on the next 50 years if they make it, and see what that's going to look like. I don't know what the future really holds for me. I'm just hoping that I can make it to my next half a century. Okay, guys, have a great day. Love you all. Miss you all. Talk to you later. Before you go, I need your help. I'm trying to grow the exposure of what we do here at Maverick Games. My goal is to actually bring information to parents and students around the world in hopes that they can see gaming as a path forward for learning, academics, and even support of neurodivergency. Please subscribe, make sure you click on those notifications, and I hope that you'll find content here that will be helpful for you and maybe others. Thank you very much, and thanks for tuning in.